Alright guys, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I went online and I searched for a brain clip art so that I can use as a reference to draw a brain on my piece of paper. So I found a picture I wanted to use and I am drawing not exactly like the picture, but like I said, just using it as a reference. Once I have the brain drawn out with a pencil, I'm using a permanent marker to outline all the lines. And today I'm only going to focus on half of the brain, which is the left side of the brain. And I am going to look through pictures to see what kind of design I want to draw on it. And I looked at many different pictures and I got different ideas from different pictures, not just one. Once I have that done, I am going to start adding some text and some words on the left side of the picture. Again, I am adding just a lot of text, titles, equations, and things like that. I'm using a crayon here. I am drawing like a grid on half of the page just to show, to give the illusion like if it's a graph paper, because that's the effect, or that's the idea I want to give for this half side of my paper. Adding some lines behind the brain, just some different designs. So now I'm going to move on to the right side of the brain, and for this side I'm going to use a lot of colors. So if you notice on the watercolors that I have on the top, there was no red, so I had to improvise, and I'm using red acrylic paint, but I did add a lot of water to it to give it a watercolor effect, because the rest of the colors are going to be watercolors. So I'm using two different types. I did use two different types of paint, acrylic and watercolor, but on the acrylic I added more water to give it the watercolor illusion. And this is kind of like a trust the process painting. I'm first putting down all my colors because I wanted to have most of the colors in the color wheel in my right side of my picture. So I'm trying to blend all the colors as much as I can. If you notice, on the yellow and the orange, it was a little bit harder to blend because I'm using watercolor and acrylics, but I was able to get it the way I wanted. Then I'm using again the black permanent markers to make all the design and the detail over the watercolors. I'm going to make like a floral design. I'm using different size of markers. I have like a extra fine point, and then I have a fine point, and then just like a regular marker. And I will use the extra fine point towards the end. Right there, I'm using the extra fine point I'm going to use it to make the flowers. So this is, flowers are fairly easy to draw because they're not meant to be perfect. Like when you look at a bouquet of flowers, the lines and all the petals, they're just very abstract. They are not like the intention is not to have a perfectly drawn flower. So it's just a lot of lines together combined to form all those flowers. So I'm going all over the watercolors that I put initially, and then I'm just giving that flower illusion. finished drawing my flowers, when I was happy with my artwork, I felt like it was still missing something, so I was deciding what to do next. I almost forgot to include the title for the right side, so that's what I'm going to do next. I added the title to the right side of the brain. I'm using a different type of font, more like calligraphy, and I'm using also the extra fine point marker, permanent marker. So I went back to the paint and I'm going to add a butterfly on top of right there in the corner, in the top right corner. And again, this is another one of those trust the process drawings, because I put down first the color, and then once I have that, you'll see towards the end of the video how I outline that butterfly or make it look like a butterfly. And I still felt like it needed something more, so I decided to add splashes of color, and you'll see how I do that technique. I was tapping the brush. I wasn't being very successful, so I got a marker, and once I wet the brush with a little bit of paint on it, I tap it with a marker to leave all those splashes of paint on there. I decided to add some leaves to the florals, and you're gonna see me do that next, and then I'm gonna continue adding those splashes of paint of all the colors that I used also. And here I zoomed in a little bit more so that y'all can see how I'm going to draw that butterfly over the watercolor paint that I put on that corner of the paper. I am using a picture as a reference. I went online and I searched for a monarch butterfly because this is the style of butterfly that I'm drawing. So I do have a picture that I'm looking at as a reference as I am drawing this. That's going to be it for my drawing. I was finally happy and satisfied with the overall picture. The intention was to show a very creative right side of the brain versus the left side of the brain where it's more just black and white. I will show you a picture at the end. Hope you liked it.